So I just got done my first play session of Isonzo, which is a brand new World War I FPS from the developers of Verdun and Tannenberg. And I gotta say, as somebody who wasn't a fan of Verdun, who wasn't a fan of Tannenberg, this game was actually kind of surprising. I didn't think that I was gonna like it as much as I do. The game just dropped on Steam today. It's around $30, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the game in its current state, and there's some things that I just want to talk about. If you guys end up liking the video, leave a like on it down below, a dislike if you didn't, subscribe for more FPS content, pick up a t-shirt at BigfryShop.com. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, right off the bat, some of the things that I really enjoy about this game so far. The visuals. This game is gorgeous. I'm really enjoying the vibrancy and the saturation that this game actually throws out there. It's definitely a stark contrast to the more gritty games, the Hell Let Loose's, the Squads. This game is very vibrant. The character uniforms running around are very easily identifiable. If you look around and your team's wearing a bunch of blue, chances are you're shooting at greens. And you can see who is friend and who is foe at first glance. It's super nice, and again, a lot of games don't do this properly. The audio in the game definitely not on the same level as a game like Hell Let Loose or Insurgency Sandstorm, but it's still actually pretty fucking good. Some of the death cries from your teammates when they get their legs blown off is chilling, to say the least. Sometimes it's a little annoying, like this clip here. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up. But it's actually pretty cool. Now, the gunplay is another thing that I actually had a pretty good time with. The hit registration seemed to be working, at least at launch, and I thought the game felt pretty good to run around and shoot. There's one thing that I wish more games did, and that's the ability to crouch and sprint at the same time. It's World War I. Obviously, there's trench warfare. I just want a really optimal experience and the ability to move around to the best of our abilities, kind of going through trenches. I'm guessing it's a gameplay balancing issue. They don't want you kind of sprinting, keeping your head down and sprinting while, you know, you're protected. I get it. It's just kind of frustrating. You're trying to maneuver around this map and you're getting shot from fucking God knows where, snipers all around, shots raining in, and it's just one of those things like if you need to move from one objective to another as you're defending, fuck, you're shit out of luck sometimes. The game mode is something very similar to a Battlefield Rush style or an operations mode where you consistently are doing objectives and advancing forward throughout the line on the attacker side, and obviously, you know, defenders have to defend these points to make sure the attackers, you know, don't forward the line. It's your basic game mode. There are some cool objectives like having to blow up different cannons or depots, and I really like that, but at the end of the day, the game mode is nothing new. Now, there's one thing that's really just weighing on my mind when it comes to games like Isonzo, Verdun, Tannenberg, Beyond the Wire. All of these games set in World War I, but a lot of these games just can't garner a solid player base. And it's not even to say there's anything really wrong with the game, and it's kind of where I'm coming from too. Isonzo was a purchase that I'll gladly make for developers who are trying to do something, you know, different, and I wouldn't even say unique, because we've seen so many World War I and World War II shooters, but I gotta say, just like as a piece of software and as a game, they're doing a lot of really good things. The game is pretty high quality, but there isn't a large player base for any of these titles. Beyond the Wire at this point is completely dead. Tannenberg has an all-time peak of 1,200 people. Verdun, I think, has about 4,000 all-time peak. The player bases for these games aren't large. So if you're looking for a very like hustling and bustling community of shooters, these aren't the games for you. And I gotta say, like, for me, I'm looking at this game and I'm saying, I like it. Has good animations, good sound, great visuals. I'd rather play Hell Let Loose. I'd rather play games like Squad that give me a more modern feel. I'm not a big World War I fan as is, but it's not something that I can hold against these guys for making what they want to make. I'm not a big World War I fan, and I don't see me playing games like this long term, but that doesn't inherently mean that they're bad. They are just going to have a very hard time gathering a large player base, and we can see it, man. There's a complete graveyard of World War I and World War II shooters out here, and I say World War I, World War II because even though they were different times and different periods, the gameplay is still very, very similar in terms of an FPS. They might be different weapons, but they function pretty much all the same when it comes to like raw gameplay. I just don't see where this game is going to go to really capture a larger audience. They're not doing anything new here, and I know that because there's so many multiplayer games out there right now, that's what gamers are looking for. They're going to look at this and they're going to say, what is this game doing that I can't get from a Hell Let Loose, that I can't get from a Battlefield 1 or a Battlefield 5 or a Postscriptum or a Beyond the Wire? Like, what is this game doing differently? And the answer is nothing. And it's weird because from a consumer perspective, that seems to be the worst fucking thing in the world. If you're not doing anything different, what's the fucking point? But from a developer perspective, they actually put a pretty good game out there. It's one of those things where just based on the history and kind of seeing where consumer trends are, I don't see this game garnering a very large audience. But if the developers are happy keeping the servers open for the gamers who do purchase a game and want to play that kind of experience, man, there's really nothing wrong with that. But as a consumer, if you're looking for a new World War I game, this is a good one, but just know you're probably not going to see major fucking player numbers like in all of these other modern or futuristic or, you know, other indie shooters on the market. Also, big shout out to Shatterline for almost crushing 20,000 concurrent players. They're doing great. Tannenberg has a lot going for it, but they're appealing to a crowd that isn't that big. It's very, very niche, and a lot of gamers who might want to jump into something like this, but they're going to look at the Steam charts and say, game seems to be dead, when in actual fact, these guys put out a really good product, but at the end of the day, who's playing them? As a piece of software, the game is solid. You can definitely tell they learned a lot from Verdun and Tannenberg, and they brought it over to this game. This is probably the best experience that I've had playing any of their games so far, and it's just unfortunate that I don't think it's going to see the player base that we would like to see for games that are doing things right. Granted, at the end of the day, if they do blow up and it does hit, you know, peaks at 10, 12, 15,000, great. I think a game like this deserves it. So I'll say this, I know the game isn't for me, but I do understand, you know, FPS mechanics, map design, game mode design. I know this is a well put together product that could definitely service a crowd looking for an experience like this. If you're a fan of Tannenberg, if you're a fan of Verdun, if you're a fan of Beyond the Wire or Battlefield 1, this might be something to definitely take a look at, but just know going in, you're probably not going to be playing with a bunch of people, and that's fine if you're willing to spend the money. The game is $30 right now on Steam, at least that's in Canadian. There's a 10% discount. I'll have a link to the store down below. This is not sponsored, but I had a lot of people reaching out to me asking if I'm going to cover this game. I didn't even know it was coming out today. Saw it on Steam. I was like, oh shit, well, hey, there's nothing really going on this week until the Call of Duty live stream, so fuck it. I'll cover this. I'll talk about it and let you guys know my thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below if this is something that you guys are interested in, if you want to see gameplay or anything else. I might jump back in and do some coverage of the game if that's something you guys want, but if not, just let me know in the comments. Leave a like on the video while you're down there, a dislike if you didn't. Pick up a t-shirt at BigfryShop.com. My name is Big Fry. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.